We are the Pilgrim's master. We shall always go a little further. It may be on that last blue mountain barred with snow, across that angry or that glimmering sea. White on a throne or guarded in a cave, there lies a prophet who can understand why men were born. But surely we are brave. I remember thinking as a kid that I wanted to experience war. It feels strange now looking back. I was 17 when I joined the army, barely a man. I was a scrawny looking kid. I was naive. I was young. After my first deployment to Afghanistan, I came home and I felt frustrated. You learn pretty quick over there that not every soldier gets into combat. At the time I wanted more, I wanted to fight. There was only one unit that was doing this, and that was the SAS. I was always inspired by the unknown. No one really knew much about that unit. I remember the first time I saw an SAS operator. They were passing through our base. The irony is they didn't look that big. They didn't fit the Hollywood mould. There was a different look about them though. They portrayed a quiet confidence, a rogue look, a humbleness, which earned their respect. They would go into places no one else would go, deep into Taliban territory. We would hear wild rumours about their tasks and their missions, but it was all speculation. We never really knew. It was the unknown that intrigued me so much. I could see the culture they were from was different. It was different to the wider army. There was just something about it that was humble and down to earth. They always looked set up, ready to fight, like they knew what they were doing. When I was 20 years old, I attempted the SAS selection course. I was the youngest person to ever pass at the time. When I passed SAS selection, it's funny, I don't remember feeling happy or proud at the end of it, just this overwhelming sense of relief. The pressure was so immense leading up to it. There's a misconception that we're fearless Rambo types, but when I look around at the end of selection, we were just the unassuming common man who on the outside looks like your everyday person. The one thing though we all had in common is we were plagued by that never-ending pursuit of excellence. This is when I realised the only thing that separated us from the rest is that we were never going to give up. A lot of people get this wrong, but selection is spiritual, not physical. I've seen people from all different walks of life show up in perfect shape, but they're not there in the spirit and the mind, and they come off very quickly. During our training after selection, it never got easier. It only got harder and harder. It changed us down to the core, all the way through to our character. The thing we held on to was humour. In dark times, it really did carry us. It's funny what humour can do in those situations where you're pushed to the absolute extreme. I've seen this in training and in combat. When something seems really mammoth or hard in front of you and someone just cracks a joke, it snaps you out of that negative headspace. When things happen on operations that don't go away, even if you're pinned down and getting shot at, you can have a laugh still. I even see this outside the regiment now, where I see some families when they got to deal with grief. Even when they're in the hospital watching their loved one pass away, they'll crack a joke, and that's quite special. It's almost like it adds another layer of resilience to you as a person, but when you do it as a group, it makes you unbreakable. You don't realise this, but once you get into the unit, that's when you see a natural change in the individuals when they come through. It's the nature of the job that really changes you. It changes your perspective on life, on everything really. And like I mentioned, it also changes you all the way down to your character and your personality, the way you deal with things, even in everyday interactions with people. You really start to see the tenets coming through. You realise you've got to be humble, kind and empathetic. You wouldn't think this would happen, but it does. One of the things I think this comes from is when you start to realise that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. You're a part of a bigger cause. I was 23 years old when I deployed back to Afghanistan, but this time it was with the unit. It felt very different to my last deployment. It felt serious. At the time, our unit had suffered from several casualties. The fighting had been fierce over the past several months. I was going into country knowing we had lost two of our brothers in combat. It was really heavy. I remember feeling underprepared on the plane ride in, even though I'd spent the past year and a half going through the most grueling training and preparation. It still hit home. I guess you can never be prepared enough when it comes to war. And it really did make me think back and remember that naive boy who wanted to go to war. And it made me realise, be careful what you wish for. When we were overseas, we were doing back-to-back operations. The tasks we had were high risk. We'd fly all over the country. It was exciting. To us, everything was just a problem we had to solve. There was no template or set procedure. But it's the mindset and the culture we come through with, that when there's a problem, you need to solve it, and that's all you need to do. It's mission success no matter what. And I think you feel that energy when you're in operations, and it's also in training as well. You feel the energy that we are there to do something bigger than ourselves. We're the lead fighting force. We're the tip of the spear. No one else is coming. No one else is coming for us. No one's going to help us. We've just got to solve this problem. So that's what I loved. It gets you out of bed in the morning. That you don't even need to go to bed. You can stay up all night. We're a small unit, but we packed a really big punch. The operations that we would do overseas is quite different to what most people think they would look like due to the movies glamorizing it. What reality actually looks like is quite the opposite. An operation gone wrong is when shots are fired. No shots fired was a success for us, and that's how 90% of the operations would go. A job gone well for us would really go quite simple. We'd be inserted in helo or some other platform, whatever it might be. We'd then do some form of a walk-on, and if it's all going well and we're stealth, then there'd be an arrest or a detention of the target that we're going for, and if we're doing it well, we'd be waking them up in their bed and detaining them and then extracting with that person or that individual. You know, that's where the Taliban used to think we were the boogeyman. We'd come into their houses at night, take them and leave. There's only a few occasions when shots are fired, and that's generally when something went wrong. Early warning, compromise, something like that. And that's when the real training kicks in. That's when you have to step up to the plate more than ever, and as an individual, but also as a group. Something we don't get training for. We kind of know it's expected as well in this job is loss. Whether that's some form of casualty or losing one of your mates in combat. when I think back to those times when we'd lose one of the brothers in operations or in training, I think I didn't deal with it that well. I would always just bottle it up and crack on, and I think a lot of my other colleagues would do the same. If you don't grieve properly and go through the grieving process properly, it actually affects you, I think, in the long run. I'm wondering how vulnerable I should be here, because it did affect me quite a bit there with Caleb, but that was just random, you know. My body actually was telling me to stop, because I was trying to run away from that process of actually grieving after losing one of my mates. Thinking that I could just treat it like all the other times. But once I lost a real close mate, that's when I tried to compartmentalise it, and I couldn't. And it just caught up with me and hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah, it really did hit me, that the reality of the situation. A couple of days later, that I had lost a friend that I really cared about, and someone who was really important to me in my life, that I wanted to be in my life, and now he was gone. And I thought I could try and treat it like all the other times when we'd lost someone in operations or training, but this time I think that was it. I guess everyone knows there's a time that they've got to get out of the unit, and I feel like the longer you're in, the harder it's going to be. A lot of us, we start families. The demand and the drain on that is really tough when you're in, so you know your time's coming. My wife and I started having some kids, and it just got really difficult, constantly going away and then doing that job. So I knew my time was coming, and I did hear about, guys finding it hard and struggling when they got out. And for some reason in my head, I always thought, that's not me, that won't happen. I'll find something else to get passionate about, just crack on. It's a strange feeling, because when I got out, it was a lot harder than I thought. Like I've talked about as those tenets, the culture, being a part of something bigger than yourself. When you get out, you feel like you've been in a car and you've just been kicked out the door and everyone's driven off. And you're on the side of the road out in the middle of the desert somewhere trying to find your way. I remember just thinking like everything's slowed down. I was trying my best just to ignore it. I was trying my best just to find the next thing to focus on. But it's still there in the back of your mind, and it's tough, because you've got to shift that identity. Now I've got to move on to something else and give it my best. I remember hearing a saying when I came through that getting in's the easy part, staying in's the hard part. But what a lot of people don't talk about when they're in the unit, when operators move on, is they don't tell you how hard it is when you leave. And now I feel like that's actually the hardest part of the whole process. I got into the SAS in my early 20s, and then I left, from roughly around my mid 30s. My whole entire adult life, that's all I knew. My perception, I guess, was a bit warped because I thought my life was that. It's something that I'm plagued with, is that unrelenting pursuit of excellence. It's always there. It's like a gremlin now. I can't sit around and do nothing. And that's something that I have to live with and bear. I'm more frightened to deal with the everyday things in life that an everyday person deals with than going away and doing missions or getting shot at or anything crazy like that. Where it's funny because I see other people always wonder about how do guys or people do those sort of things. But for me, I find it a struggle to do normal life. You go into a civilian environment, like a normal corporate job, you realise other people don't think the way you do. Even though you try to, blend in like a chameleon is what I felt like I was always doing. I was pretending, I was trying to blend in. And it takes time. I'm still getting better and coming to grips with where I go, what I do with myself. For me, I'm more scared of the ordinary things than doing the extraordinary things. We are the Pilgrim's master. We shall always go a little further. It may be on that last blue mountain barred with snow, across that angry or that glimmering sea. White on a throne or guarded in a cave, there lies a prophet who can understand why men were born.
Come on Boots, let's go.
But surely we are brave.